So you gotta understand something in this lifetime. We all start with our light when we're little, when we're naive, when we're small and defenseless. We all start with our light. That's the core of us. We want to do good. We want to see life in the best positive way possible. Then life shows up and certain things take away our innocence, right? And this is when the shadow starts, when trauma appears, when disappointment starts. That's when you really start to create your shadow without you even noticing. Also, your shadow starts when you start building resentment towards people that have hurt you, towards people that have humiliated you. That's when the shadow starts. And the shadow is basically the bad parts of you. Because we are not all flowers and rainbows like the right picture that you see, that is pink rainbows and flowers and bunnies. Life has the bad parts of it, yin and yang. So you have to learn how to balance it. You have to know when to use your shadow, when to use your light, because the core of us is light. We're not born with this trace of protection. We develop it with time and with disappointment. We learn how bad and nasty people can be, and we learn to protect ourselves. And that's how I use my shadow. My shadow is used to protect myself. It's not used to hurt people. It's actually used to protect myself from people that are actually bad people. The core of me wants to see everyone as innocent. The core of me is pure light. I want to protect people. I want to love people. I want people to succeed. I want people to be good. But the shadow of me is always thinking how to protect myself, how to recognize a predator behind a bunny's costume. Because this will happen all the time. While you being genuine, there's people strategizing on how to take you down. And this is where I failed in the past. I didn't recognize when I was seeing a bunny or a tiger next to me. And that's how I was burned in the past, right? For not recognizing these things. Then disappointment came, then resentment came. And that's how the shadow was built. Right? From all the pain that you went through. You didn't ask for it, but it's there. You didn't say, hey, I want this pain. I want to learn pain. I want the shadow. No. Nobody asked for these things. They came alone. But without them, without the shadow, you're just putting yourself in jeopardy. You cannot live a life in this life just by pure light. Because you will not survive. You will be soon dead. Okay? So, you need to recognize who's good, who's bad. You need to have discernment. And most likely, solitude is when you listen to God the most. Okay? So yeah, managing your shadow and your light is the most hardest thing that you're gonna do in your life, because you're gonna learn so much about yourself, how to use your shadow to protect yourself, because that's how we use our shadow. It's not to get revenge from people, it's not to pay back from people. Well, some people really deserve a payback, right? But that's not what we want with our shadow, right? What we want with our shadow is to protect ourselves from future disappointment, from future mistakes or naivety. That's what the shadow is there for. Yes, you give people the benefit of the doubt, but in the back of your mind, you need to always have this trust. It's the only way to not become bitter. You don't want to be fully in the dark side nor fully in the light side. Because if you're fully in the light side, you become naive. And you become the target, the perfect target. When you become all the way in the shadow side, in the darker side, you become bitter. You become negative. You become a person that everybody avoids. Because your negativity is so big, so dark, and your energy is so heavy that nobody wants to be next to you. But you have to be right there in the middle. Neither too dark, neither too light. Right there in the middle. And I'm a binary person. But on this, I'm in both sides. You can't be too bitter, too dark. You can't be too light. You have to be right there in the middle. When you need to use your shadow, you use it. When you need to use your light, you use it. And recognizing when to use it is the discernment that you need. You have to scan people from the top to the bottom. Analyze their expressions. Analyze their energy. Analyze the vibe they're giving you. It's not only the words they speak. Analyzing the vibes and the energy that they're transmuting is what's going to tell you if you have to use your shadow or your light with them. So I hope that you guys get to discern people the right way. And always, always, always use both. When you meet somebody, always use your shadow and your light, because you don't know what this person is. You don't know what their intention is. You don't know what they want with you. Always use both. Yes, give them the benefit of the doubt. That's the light side. But do not trust them fully. That's the shadow side. And that's how you manage your shadow and your light when meeting people. And within your personal life. Mostly, you wanna have a positive approach. You wanna have the light side, right? That's the baseline. But you always want this shadow side to be overseeing the light, because that's the protection, right? You can't leave your door open thinking that everyone is good, right? So when you sleep at night, the first thing you do is to check the door, make sure it's closed. That's your shadow side protecting you. You cannot just believe, oh, everyone is good in my community, nobody's going to open my door. Because that's not true, right? You're risking yourself. And that's when people become ingrained in their light, they become so naive, and the toxic positivity that you listen to, that's when people are ingrained in their light. They are living in another world that is not real. And that's why they end up in harm's way, and they end up in bad situations because they put themselves in those situations. When I was around 15, 14, gosh, I was the most naive person. And I put myself in harm's way a lot of times. And that's why I developed my shadow. And it's so strong now. As far as I have to feed my light every day with God, with positive thinking, affirmations, giving God thanks for my life, and appreciating every single thing that happened, even though it wasn't the greatest thing. I try to appreciate it as a lesson. That's how also my shadow has grown in me. The more I grow, I had to feed my shadow as much as I feed my light. I feed my light with God, with positivity, with appreciation. But I feed my shadow also with strategy, listening to books that are realist, how the world really works. How do people really achieve things, which is usually by stepping on top of others, which is not the approach that I approve. I don't think that's the way we should do it, right? But I have to be on the eye for these things, and I have to be aware of these things. And that's why I feed my shadow as much as I feed my light, right? I have to feed both. I feed my shadow by knowing that there is an invisible thing that we are not aware of. 99% of people are not aware of. They're leaving behind the 1% of people. You are leaving behind the 1% of civilians, which is the ultra rich people. And you don't know anything about this, right? But we are. So knowing about these things, being realist, is what keeps me and my shadow in alert. The shadow is the protector, the security, the guard. The light is what you protect. You protect the light with the shadow. Right? So it's not like this wolf and this lion is going to attack the bunny. No. This lion and this wolf is going to protect the bunnies. And that's the parts of you that have to be really sharp. So always take this with a grain of salt, but think about it at the end of the day. You have to have both. Both have to be really, really strong if you want to survive this life. Okay? So pay attention and never lose yourself. Never lose the good parts of you. Never lose your smile for the wrongs of people. Of course, your smile is the most beautiful thing that you have. And that's when I really, really like to feed my light with how much God has helped me. But yeah, I have to always guard my shadow as well. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you this. If you haven't heard of this, if it's your first time hearing this, learn from it, because you need both in this lifetime. Okay? Thank you guys, and have a good week.